Hey everybody, Fishman here. Welcome to the video. This is Fisher Log number 86, and I thought I'd start off today's video with the part of last week's video that didn't quite go as planned, and that is putting the new lid on the new version of the leak-proof canister filter. Now, I had welded that up and only had let it cure for about 10 minutes, which is not long enough because it's not quite solid yet, and because of the amount of bow that's in this, there's too much pressure on it, so I let go. So I re-welded it, and then I put this clamp with these boards to possibly straighten it out a little bit. And my intent was just to leave it overnight and then put it on. But I had let it go, I think, 6 days in total, and it's more than solid enough now. And I was trying to do this all one-handed, but I decided it wasn't working, so I decided to put a gimbal on the camera and do this properly with two hands. So it's just a simple matter of lifting up the lid sufficiently and using the back brace there to straighten out the bow that's in this and then to slide it down. So this is going to now increase the humidity in here. So I'm hoping what will happen is this will do the same thing as all the high humidity planters, and the Java fern is just going to grow up now out of the water. So we shall see as time passes. There are 2 or 3 other species of plants in here as well, so we'll see how they all do. So I'm going to give you one more angle here. This is looking edge on now, and you can see it has taken out, well, practically all the bow, which is nice. I'm very happy about that. It isn't really something that's dangerous to the weld. I mean, there's very little water pressure in this, but it is enough pressure, as you can see, for it to cause it to bow over an extended period of time. This filter is doing really well. I'm very happy with it, and it requires 0 maintenance, which is another thing I'm very happy about. So anyway, we'll see how this goes. The other thing I had done last week is showed you a couple of panels, or sorry, one panel I put together, then 3 more that are in the progress because I wanted to see if the client liked them. So I went in. This is a close-up of the high humidity planter / underground filter, and I installed just one of the panels, and of course had the client look at it. The water is a little bit low at the moment, and I didn't bother to put any plants on this. As you can see, there's still bubbles on everything. This is just like moments after I put it in. But this is going to be perfect. This is going to hide everything quite nicely, and I'll get the power cord out of the way and finish that all up, and I'll give you an update on that as well. I wanted to show you this because this is now taken apart. The hornwort was not doing well in the chamber, but as you can see, it decided to grow up out of the lid, and the part that's out of it is doing very well. So I'm not sure what it is, but something about being confined in that filter is just not good for it. This is the Transplant the Cuttings, and as you can see, all of it's doing really well except that one leaf. That one leaf has curled up, and I'll snip it off. But the rest of it is doing really nicely, and I'm hoping the cuttings are going to take, and I'll have, I think, 3 more plants in there, which is really nice. Everything else in the pond is doing exactly as I hoped it would. There's not much new to report on it. All the fish are doing really well. I do need to get in here, though, and cull out some of the guppies. There are certain ones that are just, well, not quite the right shape, and not obviously growing and thriving as well as the others. And as you can see, I have put some more pothos in here because I do want to put that into the large U-shaped paludarium and get that growing and thriving in there as well. So I want to get as many plants in there as possible to fill in all that space that's there. So they're in here for the moment just to keep hydrated, and they're going to wait until slightly warmer weather for me to install them there. This is the tank culture for daphnia slycopsis and a few other things. And you can notice, just as I zoom in, you can see they're starting to flit around in there. It's kind of hard with it being an aquarium to show you, but the culture's starting. This is now being cultured purely on hay. All I've done so far is put in a little bit of hay, obviously the water, a filter, got a little bit of current going there, but very, very little. And it is getting to the point now where it's almost ready to put in one of the main cultures. So far, all I've done is put a little bit of some of the secondary cultures in here, and now it's time to put the actual ones with the daphnia. I'm going to show you a clip of here in a second. And I'm going to take one of those bottles and dump pretty much the whole thing in here. So I'm going to get a fair amount going, and of course keep up the hay and make sure that it is, hopefully going to survive and do well. So this is the one that's going to be going in there, and you can see there's lots of daphnia, lots of seed shrimp, cyclopses, paramecia, the works. This is doing really nicely in here, and hopefully I can get a tank full of this going, because it'll give me an awful lot more culture, like an awful lot more live food for the fish, which is the whole point. These guys are settling in nicely. Now these are the Gardner Achilles. This is the second breeding group. The females are fattening up nicely, and the male spends almost all of his time back there in the moss, enticing the young ladies in, so hopefully I'll get some fry out of that soon. This is the converted tank. I took all the goldfish out of here, and I put in some, as you can see, Java moss. It's got a fair amount of sediment at the moment because I'm still working on getting that stabilized. And what I want to do with that is, first off, the Java moss came out of a tank that had some Colombian tetras in it, and I'm looking to see if any eggs hatch out of that. If not, what I want to do is put in some zebra danios. The zebra danios that are in this tank. And I've got some nice males and females in here, and they will breed quite easily. So I'm hoping that I'll get a bunch of fry off of that and grow them up. So I have lots of cultures for them, so it shouldn't be any problem raising them this time. And I put in the goldfish over here. They were supposed to go into the client's tank this week, but as you remember from my last video, it's really bloody cold here, minus 30-ish, so I have to wait till it warms up a little bit. And you can see that the goldfish just wreaking havoc on my pearl weed, and you can see without the goldfish it does really quite well, so I have to get them out soon. I like goldfish, but they're terrible on plants. They just chew everything up. So, we'll get that going. This thing is doing really well. It's actually doing better than I had originally thought it would. I mean, it is a box filter. It should do fine. But I'm actually liking it. It has some pros to it, let's just say it that way. But we're going to see it long term. It does obviously have to prove itself over time. Now, I wanted to show you this clip simply because I think my cories, of these particular cories anyway, have got more relaxed. And now they're up front and visible all the time, so I can actually keep an eye on them. They're not big enough yet to breed. They're almost there, though. So hopefully in the next 3 or 4 months, they'll start seeing some eggs in here. And then I'll hopefully have some cory fry, which are really quite nice. These guys are getting to the point now where they're almost... actually, I think they pretty much are at breeding age. So I do need to rearrange this tank, give them some territories. Hopefully they'll start pairing off, and I do want to get some more angels going. The original pair had to go out to a client because, well, they wanted fish, and there's literally nothing good to buy. There's not a whole lot available in town, because most of the pet shops are not stocking very much because, well, they keep getting restrictions on how many people can go in and things like that from COVID, and it's just... They're just playing it safe, and I can understand that. You don't want to have too much livestock around if you're going to have to shut down. So I have to definitely rely a lot on breeding fish for my clients. Not a problem, just a little bit slower. Now this is doing nicely. I'll just keep calling it Brazilian pennywork because I can't find out what it is. It's starting to grow really quite well. I'm happy about that. Oh, some duckweed in there too. I have to get that out. But I think there's too much light for the Java fern. I just started noticing this week that they're getting a little bit more of that black again on them. The leaves are starting to die off, and of course they're way more faded than they should be. But the Brazilian pennywort is doing nicely, so I'll have to wait and see about that. The last clip is just going to be a little bit of an update on the new organizer. I've got a couple drawers made as well now. They're not sanded or anything yet, but the dowels are all in place. I have the bottom rack system the rail system. So this is coming along. I'll be able to organize a lot more stuff and put it in, but it has a lot more finishing to do on it. So as always, let me know what you think. Leave comments, and thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next video, and bye for now.